Hey, this is Adam.
And this is Joe. Thanks for downloading our podcast, the Adam and Joe Xfm podcast. We're coming to you this week from an underground train, a London Underground train on the Northern Line. We've just left Kennington Station. We thought we'd record our intro link on this train just to give it a bit of colour, excitement and drama.
Yeah, exactly, because, I mean, it's crazy. Who would think
No, but it's failed.
Oh, why?
Because we're on a flipping tube train.
Yeah, but
it's filthy and scummy and horrible.
Yeah, well, it's the Northern Line. What do you expect?
It was a bad choice. You know, I don't know about you listeners, but when I'm standing waiting for an underground train, it's a bit like sexy roulette.
In what way?
Well, the tube train is like a roulette wheel, only stretched out into a long tube.
Yeah.
And each container is like, you know, a number that the ball might fall into. But because it's sexy roulette, what I'm saying is which carriages will have the sexiest people in it?
The hottest ladies.
The hottest ladies.
Well, when the tube arrives, do you actually have a quick look and then change carriages if there's some more hot ladies?
I scan
in
the
next
carriages.
one down?
I tend to believe that the central carriages usually have the sexiest people because that's where the tourists go. Tourists tend not to stray to the extreme ends of the platforms. That's where London livers... Is that an expression? That's where London livers go, to the extreme end of the platform. Tourists, who tend to be sexier just because they live in sunnier countries, they're on holiday, they're more relaxed. They're young, they've got money, backpacks. They tend to go in the middle of the platform.
So, you're preying on the tourists mainly?
Well, they don't speak English, and they can't tell things about you that British people can. They can't fight back, exactly. Their legal systems are different. The possibility of extradition is much smaller.
Well, we've got on kind of a bad carriage then.
This is an unsexy carriage. There's an old sandwich wrapper. There's a bloke over there eating KFC. There's a man with his headphones on so loud it sounds like he's, I don't know, listening to a band that just play 1,000 cymbals and nothing else.
Let's just have a quick listen to this guy. It's outrageous. Are you going to say anything?
No, his own punishment is listening to that crap.
Why, shouldn't we make some faces at him or something, or just sort of... have you never done that before? Have you never just said to someone, "Can you turn it down"?
No, I'd get stabbed.
You'd get stabbed, wouldn't you? No one wants to intervene on the Underground. It's the most dangerous transportation system in the world.
If something goes wrong, you are trapped.
You are trapped.
We'll have a bit of podcast, then maybe we should deal with it after that.
Yeah, okay. We'll be back shortly.
But here's the text competition, right? Now, this text competition is about killing.
It's sort of unpleasant.
It's about murder.
Yeah.
But not of people or anything that would be illegal. We don't want you texting in about the people you've killed.
No, we don't want to get into that.
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, it's a legal minefield.
I'm talking about legal murder. For instance, snail killing.
Right.
Going into the garden late at night, wearing a pair of socks, treading on a snail.
Oy.
That's the most horrible thing you can do in the world.
Or even barefoot. You must have done that.
Barefoot's even worse, but there's something about a sock because the snail, you know, flesh goes into the sock and you've got a little wet patch of death on the heel of your sock.
Death patch.
You know, you tread on the snail, the crunching sound, the fact that it's not fully dead. No, it's like a man with a greenhouse on his back, and you've shattered the greenhouse and big shards of glass are slicing into his body. It's like a Dario Argento film.
Oh.
And what can you do?
Well,
Cry for the snail?
You could kind of treat it like a Jaffa cake, and you could peel the bits of shell.
Why would you want to do that?
Off the back. I'm not suggesting you eat the thing.
That's a sort of Buffalo Bill kind of thing to do.
No, but you might be able to save him. That's what I'm saying.
I was looking for ideas like, has anybody ever tried to superglue the shell back together? If you hadn't killed the snail underneath fully, you could rescue the snail and then get superglue and try and piece the snail back together, or maybe just get a cotton reel and stick it on the top of the snail and hope it doesn't notice. Maybe I tell you what to do, a Kinder Egg shell.
That's a good idea.
Get one of those yellow Kinder Egg shells, cut a hole in either end, pop the snail in. It'll be the bell of the snail ball. Oh, Mandy, where do you get that yellow shell?
Look at your new shell.
It's lovely.
Is that a prefab? I trod on a frog.
Oh, that's bad. Treading on a frog.
But that's really bad, though, isn't it? Because people keep frogs as pets. It was accidental. Again, it was a nighttime thing, and I'd gone out into the garden barefoot one hot summer night and accidentally squished this frog. But, you know, sorry, all my stories go a bit weird and dark. I don't think I completely got the guy. You know, I just felt a crunching under my foot and immediately went, oh my God! And, you know, and then I just went into the house in disgust, and the next day it was gone. So I think it must have crawled off.
You think it would? Oh, that's disturbing.
So listen, this has already got into quite a weird area. Mainly my fault, I have to admit. But how do we judge who wins this competition?
Well, I guess we just go for the most moving... We go for the most moving accidental creature death.
Right.
You know, we're not looking to celebrate this, we're looking to share your pain and the agony of accidentally killing a living thing. I think all living things, however big and small, are God's creatures.
Yeah.
God created everything that creepeth upon the earth.
That's true, he did, didn't
Yeah,
he?
Proverbs 6. Right?
Yeah.
So they're all valuable.
Absolutely.
So yeah, text us in your accidental animal deaths.
That sounds interesting, let's talk about it. Let's start talking now.
Noodles, Joe. I wanted to talk about noodles.
Noodles.
Specifically, the pot kind.
Pot noodles, yeah.
Yeah, you know, have you seen that advert where they're in the mine? They're in the pot noodle mine. It's a crazy advert, you know, putting forth the idea that noodles actually come from noodle mines. Imagine.
Right, I have seen that advert. It's kind of, yeah, exactly, making it like Welsh miners, but they're, instead of being covered in coal dust, they're covered in noodles.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got a number of problems. I don't know how you feel about it, on several different levels with the noodles, with the noodle mines. The first of which being, you know, just the logical inconsistency of the whole thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were mining for noodles, surely the noodles in the rocks would be in a solid form.
Yeah, the problem is that the problem is that there's a lot of is's in that sentence, isn't
Yeah,
there? The
yeah.
problem is that the noodles are moist. What's
Well-
going on there? You wouldn't mine moist noodles.
No, they just flop out of the wall.
They'd be in their solid state, like they are when you buy them in the supermarket in a packet.
In packets, exactly.
Yeah.
In a hard...
The water has not
crispy
been added
nest.
yet. And if they were moist, then the two rock stratas above and below them would crush them into some sort of a noodly powder.
A paste, a kind of...
A noodly paste.
Exactly.
And what's more, I think it's insulting to people whose families were involved in you know, industrial mining industries in the north.
Yeah, like your dad.
What Thatcher ruined.
That's
like
right.
My dad was a miner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you
And-
laughing?
And he was on the pickets
he worked
and...
hard, you know? It's
Exactly.
not that long since the miners' strike and policemen were battering people over their heads and making their noses bleed and stuff, is it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you know, that was one of the most serious... That ruined thousands of lives. Maybe even... 10,000s of lives.
Yeah.
And that was a big contentious issue, and now it's been reduced to the level of
They're
a
taking the mickey.
noodle mine. I mean, I was thinking they may as well, like, if you... a similar thing would be for Marmite, yeah, to do an advert where there's like a lady in the 50s and she's on a bus and she likes Marmite and she's forced to sit at the back of the bus, like
Right.
like Rosa Parks.
Right.
You know, why not take the mick out of that?
Yeah, they wouldn't trivialise that,
No,
would
exactly. Exactly, that's my point. The pot noodle mines.
they? It makes us very, very angry.
You're so angry, you know, and just at least sort out the inconsistencies of the noodles. Are they hard or are they soft? Or in the mines?
You know, who eats pot noodle anyway?
Who does eat pot noodles?
They're just like tubular crisps
Tubular bells.
with a packet of flavouring.
Yeah.
You know?
A bit of ketchup.
Is that, because they're made by Golden Wonder as well, aren't they, pot
That's
noodles?
right, yeah.
They're just the same as crisps. Do you think you could have the same effect by getting a mug of hot water, popping some crisps in? It would probably taste about the same.
That's right.
It's just the dimensions and the surface area that's different.
That's true.
It's true, think about that. There's not a lot more to be said
Let's
now.
try it during the news.
During the noodle news.
The noodle news.
That was interesting, we talked about it. Let's stop talking now.
We've been this is Adam and Joe Xfm, London's 104.9. We've been asking you to text in, like accidental animal death. You know, treading on snails, treading on frogs, and frankly, listeners, we're getting some quite disturbing stuff in.
It's opened up the trauma floodgates.
I mean, it's that, you know, everybody as a kid has to experience mortality one way or another, and usually it's not through killing a person.
No, you know, everyone has a
Usually.
dark side.
Well, now, hang on, Adam, again, you're making a massive leap. I'm talking about accidental killing, not the emergence of someone's dark side to
I'm
voluntarily
saying-
kill something.
I'm saying that...
I'm talking about involuntary killing.
I know, but it's all sort of linked. You've got to kill
It's
the
not
thing.
linked.
Kill the things.
I'm co-presenting
Kill the
with a
little things.
madman.
The fluffy, kill them. Kill them.
So listen, here we go. Here's one from Little Jason. Little Jason is already the name of a serial killer. Little Jason this
Down in
afternoon was
jail.
sentenced to life So listen, little Jason says this. I used to work on a duck farm when I was a wee boy, and once had to put one out of its misery as it was crushed and nearly dead. So, I picked it up by its legs and smashed it over a rock. I cried for about 20 minutes.
That's
Yours, little Jason. Jeepers
Sandhurst
creepers.
prison.
But at least he cried for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the smashing over a rock doesn't really marry with the crying for 20 minutes.
No,
bit,
because
does it?
he was doing his duty. Same
Was
as
he?
me. Same as me with the I had to. I was nothing.
Here's another one. I once crushed the class gerbil at school under my knee when I was 9. Crushed it accidentally under the knee. Then, in order not to be caught, put it under a rock to pretend it had fallen under it. How do you fall under a rock?
That's what he'd tell the
Accidentally
cops.
trip. You'd have to have a wedge-shaped head and fall with quite a lot of velocity to actually land under a rock.
You'd have to be on a skateboard heading towards the rock and then fall forward.
It's usually the rock that does the
hurtle under
falling,
the rock.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but there we go. He or she was only... Martin in South Norwood. Thanks for that. My cat drank green paint from the shed when we lived in Ireland. I still suspect my parents.
No.
Says James in Enfield. James, you've got unresolved issues with your parents. Why would they kill your cat by forcing paint down its throat?
That's insanity. If your parents are the kind of people who would do that, then there's bigger problems.
And why would the cat drink the paint? No, cats talk like that because they can't articulate. They got no lips. Oh dear. It's glossy, yeah. It's glossy. That's what they'd like. The glossiness.
Yeah, because they think it was good for their coat.
I mean, white paint they might mistake for milk, but green paint, what is it? Avocado soup? Avocado soup.
Yeah.
I've trod on 3 frogs, twice in bare feet. They make a strange popping noise, and you end up doing that crazy stubbed toe, oh my god, dance.
That's right.
That's true. Well, that's the worst thing about treading on snails. You tread on one, feel remorse, step backwards, tread on another.
Yeah.
It's like a dance of death.
This is XFM.
Hey, this is Adam and Joe. We're back on the Northern Line for our podcast. I've got some fun London Underground facts for you now, Joe. Did you know that the London Underground, or Lunderground, as it's also known, is the most famous underground line in London?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Give us another. Hit us with another.
Many famous films have been shot on the Underground, including Creep, American Werewolf in London, and Star Wars.
Is that really shot on the London
Yeah.
Underground?
It was shot in between the Elephant and Castle and Borough.
Really?
And they had to close the Northern Line for 8 days.
8 days.
Well, they shot that.
Are there any, like, bloopers? Can you spot anything in the film that gives it away?
You know, in Tatooine, when they arrive in Tatooine, there's a tube train.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had to, that was one of the things he had to go back and fix. You don't see that in the special edition.
No.
You know, that was only in the original one. He had to paint the whole thing out.
Wow.
Do you want another fact?
Yeah.
Another fun fact about the Underground? During the war, many Londoners found shelter in the Underground from the terrorists.
I think some people might know that one already.
Yeah, but did you know that when they were down in the tunnels, huddled together
Yes.
for warmth, sheltering from the terrorists, they would sing bad songs to each other, and then they would mug each other. And that's where busking comes from.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm learning a lot.
Well, there you go. That's a few fun facts for you about the London Underground.
But we've been asking for your texts for, like, accidental animal, insect and reptile murder, and the response has been quite disturbingly huge. I don't think we've ever got as many texts for anything we've ever done before.
It's a very important formative part of every young person's life, I think.
People are killing animals left, right and centre out there.
I think it's better to deal with death on a pet basis than, like, kill a taxi driver or something, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. It's a toss-up. It's a balance. Swings and roundabouts. Carl JJ from Harrow says, I stood on my budgie when I was 7 by accident. I stood on my budgie. How do you do that by accident?
Was the budgie asleep on the floor?
But I didn't kill it. My mum had to wring its neck to make sure it didn't suffer to make sure it didn't suffer, or try and crawl to my bed and peck my eyes out as I slept. Good old mum, keeping you safe at night from zombie budgies.
That's the thing you worry about, is the retribution. I was in fear of the frog community for ages after I crushed the frog under my foot. You know what I'm saying? You just think, man, they've got it in for me now, and there's loads of them, and they could easily gang up, and who knows?
My dad, when he was just a boy, once threw an unripe quince at his neighbour's cat. Only a dad would throw a quince.
Especially an unripe one.
Hang on, I've lost it. His neighbour's cat. And the cat was bothering his dog. The idea was to scare the cat of his proper tea, but he accidentally hit it on the head. He quickly buried it. He lied to his neighbours when they came round asking whether he'd seen their moggy. He's always worried that maybe the quince only knocked the cat out and he buried it alive!
Well, I was gonna
like
say.
Stephen King's Pet Cemetery.
That's a nightmare.
Lethal quinces. He quickly buried it. Quickly. Shut up! That's
From then on,
disturbing.
he was
Poor
probably
old dad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Quincy, the doctor of death.
Quincy, I once ran over a family of weasels.
A whole family?
They were crossing the road in a line, so I had nowhere to go. I was quite distressed. Toby from Muswell Hill. Toby, you should have killed yourself, mate. Yeah. You should have just pulled the wheel firmly to the left, flipped the car, given your life. What makes you better than a weasel?
Wow.
You're an arrogant man, Toby in Muswell Hill, typical of people who live in Muswell Hill.
Muswell?
Muswell. Yes.
Muswell.
That's not true, Toby. You're a great guy and you deserve to live.
Listen, weasels. They're weasels, for
Weasels,
goodness
sorry,
sake.
mate.
They're weasels.
Well, you're right. Weasel is a word used to describe
Exactly.
a person with low morals.
They're rotters.
They live to die.
They
Those
welcome
weasels.
death with open arms, even a whole family.
This is a good one from Pete. I ran over a deer in the countryside. I had to finish it off with my bare hands. My wife vomited. The beef and Guinness pie I'd spent all day cooking. Imagine that scene. Strangling the deer. The wife vomiting. Jesus, darling, I'm killing it. That's a proper sort of primeval moment, isn't it? It's like something out of Clan of the Cave Bear.
Nightmare.
This is XFM.
I don't think anyone likes jelly.
I love jelly.
Do you like jelly? I love jelly. Jelly's maybe what I'm trying to say is I don't like jelly.
Why? What have you got against jelly?
It's just silly.
Joe Cornish
It's a
is
silly
calling
pudding.
jelly silly.
Come on, it wobbles. It's got no self-respect.
It's
It's
brilliant.
neither a liquid nor a solid. It tastes of nothing. Jelly's an absurd thing for toddlers.
Do you know what I used to like
No
doing
adult
with
should
jelly?
ever eat jelly.
I'm talking to Xanthi now because obviously Joe can't.
Can I
join in with me.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
You used to get the brick of jelly out the cupboard and eat the solid
No,
concentrated
wrong.
brick.
And I tried that once, but it was
Yeah,
horrible.
I think everyone did that.
It's disgusting. No, I used
not
to get the jelly and I used to kind of smush it around in my mouth until it had returned to its kind of watery form.
I know
and
what you mean.
squirt it through my teeth.
Can I describe in even greater detail?
Yeah.
You store some in the right cheek, you compress the right cheek,
That's right.
shooting it through the gaps in the teeth
Exactly
into the
right.
centre of the mouth.
Exactly
then
right.
push it through into the left cheek.
Yeah.
There should be a swilling. You swill with the jelly until it becomes a liquid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well done, Adam.
And you did that and you still don't enjoy jelly?
Yeah.
I've got a blog, Rudy, schmooty, Rudy, blog, I've got a blog. Here's the address, it's adam-buxton.co.uk, so check it out.
So listen, R&B news. You know we like to keep you up to date with the world of R&B here at the Adam and Joe Radio Show. And I've become slightly obsessed with actor and singer Jamie Foxx. He's released this album, and he reckons he's a love machine, and he's released an album full of highly erotic songs.
Oof.
But they're not explicitly erotic, I'm pleased to say, for a family show. They're sort of metaphorically erotic.
Right.
Right? And now I'd like to get Adam Buxton to read you some lyrics of the most erotic song on his album.
Yeah, I've just been handed this list of his lyrics.
It's called Storm, in brackets, forecasts. Read away, Adam.
Got nothing on but my t-shirt and boxers on. Waiting for you to get home. It's been sunny outside all day, baby. I can't wait for it to storm. Wanna feel your raindrops falling down all on me. That thunder from down under surrounding me. Coming down hard, pounding me. Let me feel the raindrops falling down all over my love. I want it soaking wet all over the bed. I want the rain to come. I can feel the mist every time we kissed. Just didn't know a downpour like this. There's a flash flood warning. Till we wake up in the morning, there'll be puddles in the bed, the weatherman said.
And on it goes.
Christmas Day.
Puddles in the bed?
What woman would want to have Rafty with Jamie Foxx?
He's basically, he's got some good... Yeah, right. Either he's incontinent or she's so wasted that she's just weed the bed really badly.
It's revolting.
That's a nightmare vision of non-sexiness. This is Adam and Joe here on XFM. Time to resolve our text competition, but not before we just give you a couple more of those.
XFM, the station with the largest body of murderous listeners in the country. The animal and reptile and insect killing that's going on out there is terrifying.
Well, you know, indie music fans, they love killing.
They love to kill animals. I swear, we've never got so many texts about anything ever. We've got about 20,000 texts. That's an exaggeration, but not that much of one.
What was the one about the girl who was trying to she was trying to trim her hamster's whiskers and she accidentally snipped off its nose?
Oh!
And it bled to death.
Oh!
I mean, that is the stuff.
That's the stuff of what?
Of sexy...
Adam Buxton,
what?
Stop it.
No, it's the stuff of nightmares. That's the kind of thing that could scar you for life.
Someone's cat used to like eating toothpaste but accidentally ate a tube of thrush cream and died the next day. Someone hoovered up their parakeet and it survived but it had a bald neck. But listen, here's the winner who's going to win a book of cool. Hugh is on the line. Is he on the line?
I am.
Hey Hugh, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
So this is an excellent story. Tell us your story of unfortunate animal death.
It was very sad. I was producing a situation comedy series for S4C, the Welsh 4th Channel, and I was casting some children to play the part of the lovable, cuddly kids in the series. And the series was called Mr. Brock, which was about a talking badger escaped from a bio lab.
Sounds like quite sophisticated stuff on S4C.
It was for S4C. It was very advanced in its day.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was on my way to the last audition. I'd been auditioning about 400 kids, and I was travelling down the A55.
So you were on your way to primary school?
To a primary school in Flint. And I was heading down the A55 in Ewlow. I was hurrying a little bit, and I accidentally made contact with my with the badger, the size of a small horse. And I remember the thud, but I was in such a hurry I couldn't stop, so I carried on going. So all the kids were there. It was quite late. It was in the winter, so it was quite dark. So they were all in the yard waiting excitedly for me to arrive, the big producer from S4C. And lo and behold, what was stuck to the boiler of my venomous bat?
Come on.
A badger's head.
The corpse of a badger. All those little kids.
Just the head?
Yeah, well, I think they thought it was some sort of... I thought they probably thought it was a puppet.
Like a trophy.
It was... But I'm still convinced to this day it was a sacrifice from the badger gods, because I got another 2 series.
XFM.
This is XFM.
Hey, this is Adam and Joe. We're back on the Northern Line, and we're stuck between stations.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm glad I've bought this massive bag of Burger King food.
Oh, no.
I've got 5 cheeseburgers, lots of fries, and all the sauces.
Oh, you're not going to eat that now,
Yes,
are you?
I am.
It's going to stink the whole place out.
Then I'm going to stand up and put some deodorant on. And I'm going to miss my armpit and just spray that woman in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good move. Do you know what I saw? This is something I genuinely saw once on a tube. It's like a big lady, and she was taking a piss.
On the tube?
Yeah. She was a mad lady, and she...
There's nothing mad about that.
I don't know, man. She looked pretty nuts. And she squatted down, and she took a big old piss.
She had pretty nuts. I looked at her pretty nuts.
I didn't see whether she had pretty nuts. But she took a piss. What would you do about that?
I don't know. That's disgusting, because the floor of a tube carriage is designed with little sort of runnels.
That's right.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, that
runnels.
is the right word, runnels.
And the tube it'd be like the film Poseidon. The piss would be coming towards you, and you'd be like, no! And you'd have your face squashed against the window at the end of the carriage. Oh, no! And it would obviously be a very small tide of piss, so you'd be overreacting. But it would be tense.
Hey, the tube started moving again. Thank goodness for that.
God for that.
Be down here all night. Well, that's good. I think we should get off, man. I've had enough of the tube for a day.
Shall we tell them where we're going? I mean, all this time we've been telling them we're on the tube, but we haven't told anybody where we're actually going. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, okay, you tell them.
We're going to get some chalk from the chalk farm. That's why Chalk Farm was named. It's like the Robert Elm show. Why is Chalk Farm called Chalk Farm? Because it used to be a chalk farm where they used to farm chalk.
Time for us to say goodbye now. Thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Stick with us.
Yeah.
Lots of love. Bye.
Despite everything. Bye.
Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.